Hello again, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. This is Comic Kid here again, and today we are going to be discussing the multiverse theory in superhero movies. Now, this is a concept that both DC and Marvel are kind of fully embracing in the next few years, and it definitely leaves a lot of room for some good and bad things to happen. So especially with Spider-Verse being all but guaranteed, and with Flash incorporating like Michael Keaton's Batman as well as Ben's and possibly even Robert Pattinson's, these are just a few of my thoughts on like the good and bad that can come out of the multiverse concept for film. Now, to start with the bad, it definitely could lead to some more confusing aspects, especially for non-comic readers. And this has always been one of the key things that has kind of thrown some people off since always. And it's that, oh, well, like Val Kilmer's Batman isn't the same as Michael Keaton's, and is Joel Schumacher's like Bat stuff even related to Tim Burton's at all, and yes and no, and especially with Spider-Man, you know, going from Andrew Garfield to Tom Holland so quickly, it is a little bit jarring, understandably, for people who don't know what's going on behind the scenes, don't follow stuff like that, and just aren't casual comic book readers as well. And so that is like the biggest downside to this, is general audience confusion. Furthermore, you also have the problems of like people picking favorites, and you know, if they bring Tobey Maguire back and let's say they do a Spider-Man 4, then it kind of leads into picking favorites. Some people are always gonna want Tobey Maguire, and some people are definitely gonna prefer Tom Holland. And so if Maguire's not the quote-unquote main Spider-Man in the MCU or whatever, then it could definitely kind of complicate the studio's relationship with its audience. Now, there's also the matter of like, at what point is enough enough? Now, in my opinion, there are really only two characters who can do the multiverse theory in such a vast amount for a long period of time, and that is the two that are pictured here, which would be Batman and Spider-Man. Now, you definitely have the potential for other characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and Superman to also support this, but given the popularity of Spider-Man and Batman alone, and the number of movies that the two already have by themselves, it's definitely going to be a lot easier to maintain several separate different franchises for these two characters. You know, I don't imagine them incorporating more than one Moon Knight or, you know, like The Question, or characters like that that are smaller scale. And so I do think the multiverse theory in cinema could definitely oversaturate the market with certain characters, but I definitely feel as though Spider-Man and Batman could pull it off, especially as long as the quality of each is consistent. Now, that's really the biggest downsides that I see to the multiverse theory, so we're gonna kind of transfer over into some of the good things that can come out of it. And in all honesty, the multiverse theory opens the door for them to do a bunch of different stuff, both in the Marvel and DC cinematic universe. As soon as an actor's contract expires, they can just use the multiverse as a clear-cut, simple way to explain how someone's gone and why they look different. And so it will allow superhero cinematic universes to continue for a pretty lengthy amount of time, should they so wish. And to kind of go back into how it can complicate things, you know, the multiverse in comics was a new idea at some point in and of itself. And so, you know, comic book readers grew to the idea, and though it definitely poses some continuity errors oftentimes, general audiences can learn to accept it as well. And you know, both universes have continuity errors here and there throughout, but it's definitely something that I do think they'll get over. And even if it's like, oh, this Batman is everyone's general favorite, it doesn't necessarily mean that not everyone is gonna like the other one, and so on and so forth. Now, as much as people say they're tired of Batman, It's Batman. People are gonna watch Batman no matter what. Same with Spider-Man. They can reboot it and people are still gonna go see it just because it's some new idea and so on and so forth. And so with Warner Bros. Especially kind of leaning into the HBO Max side of things, I definitely feel as though they have the potential with Batman. And, you know, especially if they can find a way to keep Ben around and keep doing whatever they're doing with Pattinson and, you know, with Keaton coming back, like, I don't think that's a problem. You know, you can have a live-action Batman Beyond series on HBO Max with Keaton as Batman. You can have two separate Batman cinematic universes, technically, and people are still gonna go see it. So, yeah, I don't really think the multiverse theory is going to be a problem, especially after a few years or so of them doing it. Eventually people are just gonna kind of accept it for what it is, and, you know, they'll accept that they're either the same or different or however they want to do it. And so, yeah. But, you know, especially if the content featuring multiple versions of the same character is good, then I definitely think it'll be a great way for studios to make money. And, you know, there's really nothing to stop Sony from making Spider-Man 4, Amazing Spider-Man 3, and the fourth Tom Holland one. They can have these movies going, and as long as they're profitable, I definitely think it'd be an idea worth exploring. Like I did already mention, you do run the risk of oversaturating the market with a particular kind of character, but I would definitely say it's worth a shot. Now, I do feel as though DC did their multiverse exceptionally well in the Crisis on Infinite Earths event on the CW, but you don't even have to do something of that scale on a regular basis. What was great about that event was it was all these IPs and versions of characters that we hadn't seen in so long, and so there's definitely also a nostalgia factor involved in there, and I do definitely think it's smart to bring back Michael Keaton's Batman. But that is about everything I have for you guys today. Let me know if you're excited for the multiverse theory down in the comments section below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again real soon.